My name's Jess, I'm from Community Care Foundation and I'm talking about our art piece called United. It was an art piece that was done by a group of people with a disability and their support staff, and we used mixed medium when we were creating it. You'll notice that there are some powerful lines through it, and those lines represent some of the segregation and some of the separation that people with a disability experience in community. And then you'll see the overlay over the top being some really bright, bold words saying United, which is the leading way of how we should operate as a community. Some of the materials that we've used weren't just your traditional paint on canvas. We used things like sticky tape and a few other materials there so that people with a disability who maybe couldn't paint or didn't like the texture of painting or didn't like the smell of paint were still able to contribute to the outcome, and they had the job of putting on and taking off the tapes, for example. This group of maybe, I think probably about 10 people on the day contributed to this one. You'll notice there is some really powerful splatters and some important roles around selecting the colour, or what colour should we have on top or underneath. So lots of people contributed to that artwork in different ways. We started off with representing some of our dark and deep feelings. So you'll notice a really dark underlayer, and so that was painted on with a traditional paintbrush and some finger painting and hand painting for that one. Then we wanted to represent those lines of segregation, so we had some people who applied some of the tapes over the top. Then we applied another layer of paint over the top with some sponges and paintbrushes, exploring some different textures there for different people's sensory needs. Then we tore off the strips of sticky tape, which was a fun activity that some people lined up for 2 or 3 times to have a go at. And then over the top we painted the words United in a traditional paintbrush style, and so that was that final message that we wanted to convey and to be the top message. Look, the Hervey Bay as a community is a really inclusive community, and it's a really great place for people with a disability to live, and that also is represented in our artwork. You know, where else in the country do people with a disability get to be a part of a giant installation or a community piece of art? When we said we wanted to participate, there was no questions asked. It was, of course, pick up your canvas, when will you be here? They didn't even blink an eye, and so that's a really, incredible message in itself about how inclusive Fraser Coast is for people with a disability.